In this video, we'll be taking a look at two NFL games happening on August 25th, 2022. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on this two NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Green Bay Packers versus Kansas City Chiefs. The Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs conclude their preseason on Thursday night from Arrowhead Stadium. The Packers lost their preseason opener against the 49ers and rebounded by defeating the Saints last week. The Chiefs dropped their first preseason bout against the Bears and beat the Commanders last week. Kansas City posted a 13-7 win against Green Bay last season. Green Bay opened this preseason with a 28-21 loss to San Francisco and bounced back with a 20-10 victory over New Orleans. Kansas City opened its preseason with a 19-14 loss to Chicago and followed that with a 24-14 victory over Washington. The Green Bay Packers have lost 6 of their last 8 preseason games. The Packers racked up 20 points and 289 yards while allowing 10 points and 246 yards. In the winning effort, Jordan Love threw for 113 yards and 1 touchdown, while Danny Edeling completed 1 of 1 pass. Edeling led the Packers with 48 rushing yards and 1 touchdown, while Juwan Winfrey and Romeo Doubs combined for 65 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Ray Wilborn led the Packers with 9 tackles, Chauncey Manack had 1 sack, and Micah Abernathy had 1 interception. The Kansas City Chiefs have won 4 of their last 5 preseason games. The Chiefs racked up 24 points and 314 yards while allowing 14 points and 318 yards. In the winning effort, Patrick Mahomes threw for 162 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Shane Buechele completed 8 of 15 passes. Buechele led the Chiefs with 35 rushing yards on 5 carries, while Justin Watson and Cornell Powell combined for 88 receiving yards on 6 receptions. Chris Lamons led the Chiefs with 5 tackles, Colin Saunders had 1 sack, and Joshua Williams had 1 pass deflection. The Packers are 6-1 against the spread in their last 8 Thursday games. The Chiefs are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 home games. The Packers are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 meetings against the Chiefs. The Green Bay Packers are not likely to play starting quarterback Aaron Rodgers, and even though backup Jordan Love has looked good in both preseason games, the Packers will fall short on the road against Kansas City Thursday. The Chiefs will have starting quarterback Patrick Mahomes under center for several series during the first half, and that will help propel the Chiefs to the victory. Kansas City has shown a solid defense through the preseason, allowing an average of only 16.5 points per game, and will be up against a Green Bay offense that has scored an average of only 20.5 points per game. So the Kansas City Chiefs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Packers have scored at least 20 points in their 2 preseason bouts, and many defensive starters will not be playing on either side. This means plenty of inexperienced players. While the same applies to the offensive starters, the depth quarterbacks at least have a fair amount of in-game experience. In addition, the Chiefs have averaged a decent 22 points in their last 3 preseason games. The Packers have accumulated a total of 726 yards in 2 games, and that's without Rodgers seeing any action. This matchup on Thursday will be similar to Green Bay's opening game of the preseason versus San Francisco, in which 49 points were scored, as the Chiefs will use their starting quarterback Patrick Mahomes and put up several points on the board. Jordan Love has played well under center for Green Bay and will look to impress in his final appearance before the start of the regular season, which means plenty of passes and more opportunities to score. Plus, the over is 7-3 in the Packers' last 10 games overall. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. San Francisco 49ers versus Houston Texans. It's almost go time in the NFL as the third and final week of the preseason kicks off Thursday with the Houston Texans hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Both of these teams are undefeated in the preseason, with records of 2-0. That may be less surprising for a playoff team in San Francisco than it is for one of the worst teams in football last year, the Texans. But this is preseason, so take it with a grain of salt. The 49ers have picked up wins over Green Bay and Minnesota, while the Texans knocked off the Saints and Rams. This will be the final preseason game for both teams. The San Francisco 49ers are 2-0 this preseason after defeating Minnesota by a score of 17-7 in Week 2 and Green Bay by a score of 28-21 in Week 1. In their last game, San Francisco fell behind late in the second quarter, but was able to outscore Minnesota 11-0 in the second half for the win. The San Francisco starters should play for a few drives, but not more than a half. Once Trey Lance exits the game, Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy will take over at quarterback. Both quarterbacks looked solid in their game against Minnesota. The Houston Texans are 2-0 this preseason after beating Los Angeles by a score of 24-20 in Week 2 and New Orleans by a score of 17-13 in Week 1. In their victory against Los Angeles, Houston trailed by 3 points late in the fourth quarter before Mason Schreck caught a touchdown pass from Jeff Driscoll for the win with a minute left. Davis Mills struggled in the first half of their last game and will look to start off on a better note in this game. Once Mills is done playing, Kyle Allen and Jeff Driscoll will quarterback the team. San Francisco is 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games and 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 road games. The under is 7-1 in San Francisco's last 8 games. Houston is 3-10 against the spread in their last 13 Thursday games. The over is 4-1 in Houston's last 5 games, and the over is 8-3 in Houston's last 11 home games. The home team is 3-1 against the spread in these two teams' last 5 head-to-head meetings. It is still a preseason game, but it is easier to handicap the final week of the preseason than the previous 2 weeks. Both teams have confirmed that their starters are going to see a solid workload prior to having a few weeks off before the regular season begins, which makes this game more exciting from a handicapping perspective. As a caveat, it is really hard to know who is going to play and for how long, but a couple of things we do know. Trey Lance looks like he will get some time under center, and that should be one advantage for San Francisco. 2. He has 2 solid backups in Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy, who have both proven capable of moving the ball down the field and into the end zone. Another thing we know is that the 49ers defense is pretty darn good, even the subs. Many will be playing hard to make the final roster, so I think they can do enough to hold down a Texans offense that, while the team has won, has been somewhat sluggish. The 49ers have more talent at almost every position and have more momentum than Houston from last season. They were able to overcome a ton of injury issues en route to an NFC Championship game berth, and they are much healthier now. Shanahan has covered the spread at a 7-2 clip over the last 3 preseasons, while Smith is just 7-12 in his last 19 preseason games. So the San Francisco 49ers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. After Week 1 of the preseason was littered with overs, that quickly evened out with plenty of unders in Week 2. That was the case for the 49ers, going from a total of 49-24 between the first 2 games. That trend should continue with the 3-game preseason. In the past, the 3rd game would have starters seeing the most time and then the final 4th game having them see the least. However, this is now the final week of the preseason, meaning starters may not be seen at all. San Francisco has already gone in that direction with the most important position, quarterback. The 49ers want to preserve Trey Lance and his running style, and he didn't see a single snap last week against the Vikings. The same can be said about their running back room. Neither Elijah Mitchell nor Jeff Wilson Jr. has seen the field this preseason, as the 49ers want to see what they have in Trey Sermon. However, he had a whopping 19 yards on 11 carries in 2 games. All of that lack of production, and they are the ones favored to win this game. That speaks volumes about just how rough of a situation the Texans are in, having to rely on Davis Mills as their starting quarterback. While the same can be said about defensive starters resting, the depth there still outweighs the talent with the ball. The 49ers even recently cut a receiver to make room for a safety and allowed just a single touchdown last week. Both of these coaches have been fairly successful in their careers in the preseason. Kyle Shanahan is 10-7 while Lovie Smith is 26-24. We also know that Smith is a defensive-minded coach from his days in Chicago and Tampa Bay and as a defensive coordinator. The Texans' defense has looked pretty good in the preseason, as has the 49ers' defense. While Trey Lance is expected to play, it probably won't be that much, and it is doubtful that he'll come out firing on all cylinders in his first meaningful outing of the preseason. The 49ers are going to have more defensive starters available on tonight, and they are also comfortable with Lance at quarterback, so the offense is not expected to be airing it out much in this game. Houston will score a few touchdowns, but anything more than that would be surprising against a strong San Francisco defense. The Texans continue to apply pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Don't expect a ton of points points as teams will err on the side of keeping everyone healthy and ready for the regular season. I expect a score in the low 20s and 10s. There is just not enough offensive depth with these teams to warrant the second highest total on the board here. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.